Okay, one more episode left. We are finally doing The Rise of Skywalker. I don't really have much else to say. That's the intro. Let's get into it. Now, I'll admit, I have really gotten back into playing this game between all these recordings because I've done all the episodes. I got 100% on Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, etc., etc. Here is where we end it all. With a bang, hopefully. The one thing that always irks me about this game is that they use the episode 4 theme, even regardless of the episode. It's something else. The Dead Speak! There it is! I forgot pretty much everything this movie has to offer except the memes. So I don't have much commentary to add, if I'm being honest. This is just going to be me re-experiencing this movie for the first time through Lego.
We're about to be cooked!
Oh, we got it! Oh, we are cooked indeed. I was that actually in the movie, or did they add that? Okay, I gotta check. We are recording, making sure. I'm really traumatized from last episode. Anyways, a skip and a jump. Alright. And my mouse is in the way. No. So, I won't lie. This is easily my least favorite movie of the trilogy. The reasons why I don't like it? Well, if you look to almost any single video on this movie, you're bound to find some overlap between opinions there. Punch it, Chewie. Oh, that's a cute visual. What's that weird noise in the left part of my headphones? That's annoying. Yeah, what is that noise? That's actually really irritating. Oh my gosh. Slug reaction. Amazing. We got it within the... Alrighty, well, that's quite the start. So, I really don't have much commentary for this movie. Like, I purposely chose not to really put many things to talk about because I don't really have much to talk about and I feel like I'd pad the limit. But I don't know what to say. Shoot. Kyber Brick. Those are always good to collect. Ajan Kloss. I didn't even know this planet had a name, if I'm being honest. But yeah, like I said, I've been playing a lot. I have over 1,000. I have less than 200 to go. Like I said before, though, I think my opinion on this movie is about the same as everyone else's. I don't like it very much. I think my big problem with it, outside of its general premise and plot points, I kind of don't like how much it tries to mitigate some of the stuff that happened in The Last Jedi. Like, it's like, oh, hey, Rose, why don't you come along with us? Nope, I'm stuck on this planet. Hey, why don't we do Holdo's maneuver, 1 in a million, which I know a lot of people had a problem with that scene, but, like, I don't really care for that, to be honest. I think this is the one time where rule of cool factors everything, if I'm being honest. If there's any positives I can give this film, so I don't sound like a complete hater, I do love the visuals, and I do think the premise on paper could work. Now stay with me here. I feel like bringing back Palpatine, it's bringing back an original villain. It's something a lot of franchises do, but it's not like the worst thing ever, the most egregious. Here, it's definitely like something else because, you know, it hasn't even been a full lifetime since Palpatine first disappeared. Oh, hey, 3PO, what are you doing here? But I think this film could have worked. I do think it had some interesting ideas. And I do think, I remember when I was in theaters, I generally tried my best to have fun with the movie. Typically, if there's a movie, if I watch a movie and I know it's going to be bad or I think it's going to be bad, I just try to at least enjoy it as entertainment. And entertainment-wise, I had an okay time with this movie. I won't pretend like it crushed my childhood in half with, like, the snap of a finger.
You can do this.
And I made a point in my last video that I don't want to, like, mindlessly hate on this movie. I think its flaws are very apparent, but I want to try and start conversation about how we can make this movie make sense, and that's kind of the mindset I want to have moving forward. I can save all these Kyber bricks for later.
I have to keep going.
Okay, Rey, I get you. Let's get you back to the course.
There's a mole in the First Order, and they sent us a message.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
He's been planning to prevent the largest fleet the galaxy's ever known.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. And both and neither, excuse me. That's the line. Oh yeah, update designs and everything. Let's do this. Let me search around for some bricks quickly. Maybe there's some goofy ones I can find.
Help!
Who's the poor sap that needs my help?
Help!
What's going on over here? No, I don't think he's gonna make it.
I sworn I saw a shiny brick just over there. But this jungle is pretty hot, so could have just been a mirage.
Is that Adam Howden?
Help!
To the forbidden desert of Pasaana we go, as I leave that poor man to just die in a fire, I guess. I do find it funny that The Rise of Skywalker introduced an entirely new desert planet and then ends off on Tatooine. You know, a certain topic just occurred to me just now. I think an interesting thing to kind of point out is what I did after this movie came out. I alluded this in my Last Jedi video, but I actually took a break from Star Wars after I watched this movie. It wasn't just this idea of, oh, the movie's so bad, I got sick of Star Wars, blah, blah, blah. No, I just kind of moved on. I ended up actually going back and watching all of the television shows. I say going back because when Mandalorian came out, I didn't watch it. I really was not interested in its premise, if I'm being honest. I instead ended up watching Clone Wars, I want to say, about 2 years later. I watched Rebels, I think almost immediately after. Had a really good time with both those shows. And then a little after, I went through all the live action. Because I don't remember everything about those shows either, I'm not going to give like too descript of reviews, but Clone Wars, 8 out of 10. I think it's a great show. I think the only reason why it's not a 10 out of 10 is because of its anthology-like nature or whatever, where it kind of switches between perspectives, and there's just a lot of arcs that people like that I really just wasn't the biggest fan of. Rebels is a 9 out of 10, surprisingly, because I just think, again, it had a more linear storyline to follow, and just... I can enjoy its campiness. It reminded me a lot of the older Star Wars films, even though it could, you know, veer a little more into the kiddish side of things.
We talk to people. Maybe find out what drew Luke here.
The JRPG classic of talking to random people until you get the answer you're looking for. Hello,
That's
miss.
weird.
This is not how I expected our first silent disco to go.
Oh, wait, is this what I think it is? Hold on, people. Now, what do you have to say, mister?
Now this is a party. I'm really feeling it.
Oh, yeah, baby! Oh, yeah! Rhyme time, baby! Okay, you guys don't understand how long I've been looking for this. I've seen clips all these years, and I finally found the Adam Howden Xenoblade quote. Oh my gosh.
Thank you so much for your help.
You're very welcome, Mr. Howden. Please, keep being goated. Ugh, I am so elated. Never mind, this is the best episode in the entire saga. Yeah, no, Mandalorian Season 1, 6 out of 10. I didn't really click with the premise at first, and I do think there are a couple of really bad episodes in Season 1. I think Episode 5, if I remember correctly, is easily one of my least favorite of the entire show. I think it's just really dumb and obvious what's going to happen, and it happens regardless. Still enjoyable, but, you know. Now, Season 2, on the other hand, yeah, no, I get the hype. 8 out of 10. Things just start clicking. Every episode is just firing on all cylinders. I know a lot of people actually take issue with the beginning part, but I actually like the beginning part one of the most. That frog lady, I don't know what it is. I just loved every minute of screen time with her. I wanted more of her. Season 3, definitely my hottest take about Star Wars yet. I think it's a 7 out of 10. Now, is it undeniably weaker in quality and has a lot more problems? For sure. But I kind of didn't mind its faults. I don't think they were as bad as people say it is. Is it one of the most disappointing seasons? Probably. I had a bit of fun with it. Though I do think that Season 3 kind of highlights one of the biggest problems I have with, in general, modern Star Wars, or at least ever since the Clone Wars came out, was its inherent focus on Mandalore, but not really. I think Mandalore is one of the most poorly handled planets in the entire series, but I don't think we're ready for that conversation yet. Oh, they... Oh, boy. Die, First Order dogs!
They fly now?
They fly now! Ah, yes, the other infamous meme line that's like, both are pretty early in the movie, surprisingly. I do think The Rise of Skywalker had pretty good action, at least in the beginning. I don't know about the whole Exegol fight, but this part was pretty fun. They fly now. Okay, so this entire section of the story where they just coincidentally fall into like a pile of sand that happens to be what they're looking for. Yeah, okay. What's that in the middle? Oh, that just puts me back in... Oh, whoops. I guess I didn't learn my lesson. So yeah, was there any way I would have changed this part to, you know, make the movie a little better? I mean, I think this was a genuinely solid idea. They just happened to accidentally end up where they needed to be. I think if they were to set up the fact that Ochi's last movements were here, and I could be wrong based on the movie. I haven't seen the movie since it came out. So if they just made up the point, hey, Ochi was spotted around here, but we don't know where, and then they just so happen to end up in there. I mean, I don't know. This movie has too many of these quote-unquote conveniences. I don't want to say the plot's making excuses, but the plot really is not plotting the way it should be. Alrighty, yeah, no, Pasaana. This is the entire thing of Pasaana. They really blazed through that part, but I guess the memorable scenes stick out like a sore clock. A sore clock? What is wrong with... All the memorable scenes on Pasaana stick out like a sore thumb. Excuse me. I don't know why I said clock before. Let's see. What are some other Disney Plus shows I can comment on? Because I did see Book of Boba Fett. Easily one of the more shows that exist. To tell you the truth, I never cared for Boba Fett. I never once had high praise that some people did growing up, because I just thought he was always meant to be kind of, you know, just thrown to the wolves when it came to the plot. Like, I've never really been too big on the Boba Fett train. I think Jango's cooler, if I'm being honest. Boba Fett to me looks like a total space cadet. But when he got his own show, I thought, oh, this could be cool. And I remember the episodes of Mandalorian Season 2, I thought, dang, he actually is cool. Maybe the fans were cooking with him. I just didn't notice. And then I don't know what the heck that show was trying to go for. Like, I feel like unlike a lot of people, that one didn't personally hurt my soul. The Ahsoka show did that for me because I loved Clone Wars. I loved Rebels. I wanted to see this be made, but I don't have many good things to say. I think my comments for Ahsoka are ones people have said before. Should have been animated. It's kind of crazy how they downplay a lot of the bonds that the Rebels team is supposed to have had over the course of the show. Zeb doesn't appear because it's live action, and I just feel like Sabine and Ahsoka never once thought, yeah, no, the dude who could have probably ended the war. Yeah, let's potentially bring him back because I want to see my old buddy again. That was such an asinine, like, character decision. What were they cooking? And I never liked Sabine too much, if I'm being honest. She was my least favorite main character in Rebels. I just kind of thought that she kind of just did whatever the plot told her to do, and I don't really like her Mandalore backstory too much because I just don't like Mandalore as a planet in general. It could have been better. It could have been a lot worse. I liked Anakin came back, but that's just because I liked Anakin, not because of what it did for Ahsoka. And, I don't want to get my mind wrapped around the bad because, one, there's too many negative Star Wars videos on YouTube, and I don't want to devolve into that. And the reason why I won't ever do reviews on these shows is simply because I have nothing to add that hasn't already been said. But yeah, that's kind of my general opinions on most of the Disney Plus shows, minus Andor, but Andor is a masterpiece like everyone says it is. It's great for a reason. Watch it. Alright, there's Skeleton Crew, but come on.
Jerry.
I love how you can see the Lego logo. It looked like Rey had a Lego-shaped tattoo on her arm.
Hello.
Follow me. I know my way around. Kinda. It's been a while.
Oh yeah, changing Poe's backstory for him to originally be a spice trader. That's a choice. What do you mean I can't go through here? The entire thing's open. And there's no light. Cool, we good. Alright, I guess I need to comment on force healing, because that's also something that's explored in this movie. How do I feel about it? I don't know.
Maybe the Force can help me with this generator.
It's gonna help you get that mini kit, Ray. We got priorities here. Yeah, no, I feel like it's not really that bad. I don't really mind it, to be honest.
Chewbacca!
Alright, let's make this easy on ourselves. I ain't got time to mess around with you crooks. Come on. Wait, what? Did Finn just come out of the box for a second? What was that?
Head up the steps.
Not yet, Poe. I got a mini kit to get. Excuse me. No! Cutscene.
Wait, Ray, can you do your rock lifting thingy on the gate?
Whoa, I just noticed the voice line. Did it, like, go from a walkie-talkie to, like, his actual voice because of the proximity? That's actually a pretty cool detail. I never noticed that till now. It's rare to get a stealth mission in this game. Like, pure stealth. Wait, could I just sneak attack all these stormtroopers, or will that set off the alarms? It does not.
These First Order credentials might help us clear this courtyard.
Oh, it sure will, Finn. You're the best, buddy. Give me that mini kit. What? Give me the... Nice hitbox.
Attention. Targets are definitely not in the courtyard. So go look somewhere else.
Understood. Move out.
Oh, that's cool. Nice.
They used a stolen medallion.
Snitch. This is why I don't like meleeing. They just block. That's why I just keep blasting.
Which way? I have no idea. Follow me.
Ew, Kylo, you live like this? Come on, bro. Okay, you know what? You got the original. You got Lego Star Wars, the original video game, and Lego Star Wars 2. All is forgiven. You need the complete saga, and you got most of them.
Trying to release the Wookiee. Stop him!
Guess we're going the right way.
All these Anakin stormtroopers.
Terminate them.
I'm the spy. What?
I need Kylo Ren to lose.
You are a Palpatine.
And that's the mic drop.
What Palpatine doesn't know.
The mic dropped, fell into the floor, and burst into a million pieces.
Come on, I got you.
Finn is just trying to be a good friend and just look out for everybody. Keep everything together.
We found our spy.
Hux being the spy. Oh boy. No comments if I'm being honest. What? I didn't mean to land. I was trying to boost. Come on now. Game, don't mess up on me now. We're right near the end. You got a little more kick in you, please.
It's the Death Star. It was a bad place from an old war.
Where's everyone else? That just abruptly cut, by the way. That wasn't a transition slide. They just abruptly cut to Rey and BB-8 looking at the Death Star. They really just cruised through that. How did the Death Star even end up like this? It got exploded into like a bajillion pieces. So where is everybody else? Like, I don't think Poe and Finn are still on the ship, are they? I don't know. It's still weird how the Death Star 2 is grinded into dust and there's still a large wreckage. What do you have to say, hologram trooper?
Hey, the big We Got Him party is still happening as planned. Guess I'll see you at the party, man. Peace!
Oh, if only he knew. Having all the talkables just be holograms of stormtroopers is hilarious.
I don't know why we need a backup anything. This place is built to last forever, right?
Okay, the irony's starting to hit like a brick. I think I get the point.
Come with me to Exegol. We will destroy Palpatine. Together.
Alright, same verse, same as the first. And second.
You're strong with the dark side, like me. Why can't we just hang out?
Kylo really just that edgy boy in high school. That's tough.
I can't make that jump.
What was that animation?
It was a little too good to be true.
The grandchildren of Vader and Palpatine fighting in the Death Star is pretty cool, right?
Stop nerding out and concentrate.
Come on, let a man geek out. Now you're just being mean, Rey. Sure, he did commit multiple war crimes, but you have to understand, he's just a nerd. I can't even make this joke. I can't finish that joke. This is so stupid. I remember this moment purely because Finn comes out of nowhere and just goes, Rey! Uh-oh. 8 out of 10, too much water. Hold on, can you just stand... where's the BB-8 panel? Yeah, can you just stand right here for a quick second? And bam! Wait, where's your lightsaber? Oh wait, can I see this? Oh yeah, BB-8 point of view. Oh. Wait a minute. No, there was a lot more to do on this planet. Like I actually had one character I was actually thinking in the back of my mind. Where's Jannah? She first appears on this planet. Where is she and her other like band of ex-stormtroopers? What is this? So hello there. This is Editor Me. Two things. One, I'm pretty blind. I ran past Jannah, who was in front of the Falcon this entire time. But the reason why there was no intro cutscene to Kef Bir is because my game glitched. Just look at this.
I'm Jannah.
We have to get to that wreck.
Not now. Too dangerous.
Let's get that ship fixed.
I don't know how this game continues to still swindle me with these types of glitches. This is ridiculous. Just that dude still needs help. Bro is in trouble. You know what? Let me actually help him out for once. Oh, this is how we get him. Alrighty.
I'm saved. My hero.
There you are. They're all just doing the same animation too, dang. I know they're all mourning, but it feels like a coordinated dance when they're all doing the same thing at once. Whoa.
I have everything I need.
You have a... What is up with this lightsaber? Yeesh. If any character has like an additional thing in their pocket, it just goes haywire. Same thing happened with Rose's taser. There we go. Does it fix it? No, it's still stuck like that. Why does this game keep making me take out my lightsaber? I'm not the one doing that. This was a pretty cool scene. I gave The Force Awakens a lot of, like, and partially this movie already, a bunch of glares because it, like, called back earlier movies, but I do enjoy stuff like this.
I'll try to take care of it.
Do or do not. There is no try. That's a collector's item.
That's the truest thing Luke has said. Have you seen what these things go for on eBay?
I am C-3PO,
Human-cyborg relations. You keep telling yourself that, buddy. You literally need an entire plot point to get you to do your job this movie. I will say, even though I have a ton of problems with this movie, I don't think this movie really ruins any of the characters. I know I mentioned Rey being, like, the main problem, getting messed up, because, you know, to a lot of people, they just gave her a bunch of OP powers out of nowhere. And they also got rid of her nobody persona to kind of retcon that. Oh, your parents chose you to be a nobody, but Palpatine's your grandfather, so I don't know. This movie's a big I don't know.
Do it.
Rey and her Lego tattoos, it's so noticeable.
There's always a family drama in this galaxy.
It's between the same 2 to 3 families at that, you know what I mean? Oh, and it swaps. Okay, here we are. Double fight, baby. I do like the sound effects. The atmosphere, okay, I hate to say it, the vibes in this are immaculate. To be fair, him coming back as a clone, because that's like probably one of the most egregious plot details in this entire saga. I mean, if there's anyone who could do it, it would be Palpatine. Good old Sheev, which I'm pretty sure was a comic that everyone hated, and they still adapted this. Are you just gonna... Are we just gonna stand here? Alright, bro. It's just... Oh, hello, Jannah. Good of you to make your first appearance at the very end of the movie. You know, for all the fuss I've made about Jannah not being in this movie until now, I don't know what to say about her. I don't think she was bad or anything, but... okay, I try not to be negative Nancy around here, but this is pretty boring, pretty lame.
Look out!
Rose has an entire line in this, but not Jannah. Why is this annoying me more than it should?
There's a terminal to shut down that power generator. We need to find it.
Oh, so you do speak in this game. Good. Good to know. I just couldn't tell because I don't think she's...
You think we can control that turret?
Okay, Finn just got blasted off screen.
Get ready to see a whole...
Nope. I ain't letting you finish that one, old boy. Oh, it's playing the Star Wars theme. Dun 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 dun. Even got a flying Ewok. Oh yeah, baby. Oh, the Porg's here too. Let's go.
Rise and take them.
Oh, it's nice they got all the...
Now is not the time.
Rey.
Of course, I knew Anakin was going to say I don't like sand. I still laughed at it anyway. I cannot believe myself.
Anakin,
Such a drunk.
help me. No, wait, it's not the other time.
How will they do this scene? Wait. I was about to say, them Jawas got the right idea. And that is The Rise of Skywalker complete. Wait, that's it? I mean, I guess so, but that felt shorter than usual. Again, it's probably because I didn't ramble as much, but... Oh, and we got the outro too, since I finally got all the episodes. I'll keep this going. So, Rise of Skywalker is a movie I said before I'm not fond of. I didn't really have any points for this video because even though the other movies, I remember some parts of it, I don't remember almost anything about this one. So I was just hoping to go through the motions with this episode retelling and just hope I can have some fun with it. And I'm glad I did, though I feel like my overall thoughts on this part of the game translate exactly to the movie, and that is this episode to play through was just kind of okay and had some fun moments, but the memes kind of took over most of the enjoyment, if I'm being honest, and that's probably how I'm going to feel rewatching. Most of the characters don't really have much more development to go through, and that is by itself can be fine. And in this movie, they kind of do that. They just kind of, instead of doing a straight line from A to B, they somehow go backwards, diagonals, somehow end up off the graph, and then come in through a completely different point and somehow manipulate the Z-axis in the process. This episode in general is just, I do hope to like it some more, because again, I want The Rise of Skywalker to make sense in retrospect, and I hope that later down the line we can get a lot more spin-offs, not just book spin-offs, let me be more specific, more TV shows and movies to kind of fill in the gaps here, because I do think there's stuff to be said about the sequel trilogy that's good and can be made perfect. I know some of the Disney Plus shows touched on that, primarily Mando, because I think it's the one that takes place between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens. I just kind of think they're doing too little with too much time, if that makes any sense. Kylo, I think, had an okay redemption arc. Could have been better. I don't think it's the worst thing ever. Rey, I think, is okay in this film again. I said this before, I think The Force Awakens was her worst outing. I just kind of couldn't get invested in her. The Last Jedi made me invested. I think this film was okay with that as well. I just kind of think she was okay. Her being a Palpatine, I mean, moving on. Finn, I think, kind of gets an okay arc as well. They kind of do a little more within the movie where they show he's kind of force sensitive and is grown beyond competent to do this. I know some people have said, oh, the stormtrooper revolt he leads was so much cooler, and there's a point to be made about that. It's just it never came to fruition, so I don't think we should really put so much emphasis on the could-bes, if I'm being honest, simply because we're just asking for a timeline that we're never gonna get. So let's just focus on the forward. I think forward, there's still a lot of stories to be told with him that could be just as cool as that. Poe, I don't know why they made him a spice trader, which is borderline a stereotype, if I'm being honest. Plus, Cassian already did that, so he's just stealing his flow, kind of. Well, Cassian wasn't a spice trader, but, you know, he wasn't, like, the most stand-up guy. So, most of the new characters introduced, Zorii, I don't really have much to say. Another cool person in armor who only gets to do stuff for 2 minutes. That's, like, the biggest trope in all of Star Wars. The biggest trope in Star Wars is not about bloodlines and whatnot. It's having really cool characters show up for 2 seconds and either do nothing or get killed. You got Boba Fett, you got Phasma, you got Jango Fett, and then you got Zorii in this film. Jannah, I think she was part of something pretty interesting about the whole Stormtrooper exile and whatnot. I can't pretend to remember what she was. I think she would have been a good contrast to Finn as well, where, like, you know, Finn ran but then chose to stay, while Jannah and the others just kind of ran and kept it that way until Finn inspires them to come back. Again, I don't remember this movie line by line, so I could be wrong or very wrong. Leia, I always give Leia the biggest grace when it comes to these films, simply because Carrie Fisher passed away while making these films, and they didn't want to recast, and I understand that. And I think they did Leia okay in this film, with what they were given, of course. This was a movie overall, when I first saw it, I just couldn't respect it, you know? I just think what this movie does is try to just shove away everything that came before to tell its own story. Like, it literally spent a good 5 minutes at the beginning to kind of just explain why The Last Jedi couldn't happen again. Like, why is Rose not in this movie? That's explained. Why couldn't Hodor's maneuver work? Blah, blah, blah. Why is Rey a nobody? That's because she's a Palpatine. And it, to me, I don't want to say it's like first draft stuff, but as someone who tried writing a couple stories before, I noticed that some of the worst parts of what I was writing were when I was constantly just answering questions to myself through the dialogue, and I'm like, that's not good, because you're answering questions that either were never really asked in the first place, or you're just afraid of, like, damage control so no one understands what you're doing. I just don't like that. So that's where a lot of my respect for this movie kind of goes down the drain with. Oh, and how can I forget the big bad himself, Palpatine? Look, for all the contrivances it takes to make him exist in this movie, I'm just glad he's the same. One of my biggest problems with The Force Awakens is that, it put too much emphasis on playing the greatest hits when it came to lines and plot points, and they did the same thing here. But honestly, I don't care if it's Palpatine doing, if I'm being honest. He's like the one dude in Star Wars where I'm like, okay, be as insidiously evil as possible. Go over the top. Be beyond over the top. And because of that, I always enjoyed him in this movie. Same thing with Ian McDermott's performance. He just puts his entire back into it. Are there any other major characters in this movie I'm forgetting? Oh yeah, Hux being out as the spy and then immediately dying was comedy gold. And I don't want to hear people saying they wasted a lot of characters in The Last Jedi when this happens. Hux was a character overall I didn't really care too much for, and I feel like the screen time reflected that, though. I do wish they did something cooler with him in these movies, because I forgot his name. I know his name's Price, but I forgot what title he held. That's how forgettable he is to me. I think he serves his role, but his role was to be bad, and Tarkin did that, except Tarkin had more lines and stuff to do in the film, at least if this Lego thing was accurate. And I guess, was this Lego adaptation accurate? Well, some of these things just scratch my head, and then unfortunately, you know, stuff like Exegol and the whole horse thing, maybe, I don't remember it being lame in the movie. I just remember being corny fun, but here it was just kind of lame. I don't know. I don't want to say this to say, oh, I hated this game or disliked it. I had a lot of fun. I hope my clips reflect that overall. Have a lot of fun. Even though I can sometimes come off as very harsh in my tone, I genuinely just want to be critical without being negative, and I hope I was able to strike a balance with this playthrough. I did overall enjoy my time with this game. I have a lot more thoughts on the Skywalker Saga in general, so that's for a different time, but as for this movie, I think it was just okay. If I remember when I first saw it, I gave it a 6 out of 10 because it's like, I had some fun with it. I don't know. Again, I'm one of those people where it's like, if I can't take the story seriously, I just want it to be fun from start to finish, and I think this movie at least did that for me. I used to say I don't know what I'm talking about, but I think I do know what I'm talking about because I have seen almost every sequel trilogy movie, and I think it's time I complete this trilogy, and by extension this saga, with a rewatching of The Rise of Skywalker. So we'll cut back to when I'm done with that. So hello once again, I have finished watching The Rise of Skywalker. So as always, I'm going to get into the plot first, and the plot is actually okay in its own merits in a way. I think people have said this complaint before, the movie feels like it's two. It spends so much time setting up that it's ridiculous that this is even set in the same franchise, if I'm being honest. Because it spends so much time setting up Palpatine and the Sith acolytes and Rey's conflict and how, you know, she basically starts to just like being by her lonesome. It's really weird in that regard, and by extension, it kind of divorces a lot the characters from what we see in the other movies, like how Finn has gone from just a dude who wants to run away to some sort of Force guru, like Chirrut from Rogue One. It's kind of funny. So, you know, there's a lot more to say, but I think instead of talking about the characters, I will have what I think of them on screen. I do want to spend this section to just kind of talk about how do we get here in the franchise. So obviously when it comes to planning, we all know that they really didn't have a plan for this entire thing. Disney and everyone else just wanted to wing it. So as a result, we were supposed to get J.J. Abrams for The Force Awakens, Rian Johnson for The Last Jedi, and some other third director who quit for, I think, creative differences and had to be thrown back to JJ. So, as a result, this entire trilogy is disjointed as all heck. All the writing, while coming from very different points of view, specifically two different people who have very different philosophies on how to approach Star Wars, it kind of has a jumbling of tone and directing and whatnot, and it kind of suffers for the worst a lot. And I think, in retrospect, the only way we could have made this work is if, well, here's the thing I've always had about this entire sequel trilogy, is that while I believe, yes, there's a lot to be said about Disney as a corporation and as a company, I think the people who are in charge of these films themselves have a lot of talent. I like to believe Disney wouldn't just pick any Joe Schmo for some of these films. Now, granted, that could be said later down the line with some of his other flicks, but it's clear that J.J. Abrams and Rian Johnson either had something under their belt or would prove to have more than what they're capable of. And so they should have stuck with one of that person's visions because, look, let's be honest, George Lucas's Star Wars is not perfect. Even if we're talking the original trilogy, it just isn't a perfect trilogy in itself. But the thing that kept everything consistent was that it was all coming from the mind of one person. And that's kind of what made the movies easier to swallow as time went on, because this was all kind of the same thought process of one man. But when it comes to this trilogy, we're stuck between two warring sides, and it kind of shows with how they approach the characters, the story, etc. And I know for me, I personally would have preferred Johnson's vision. I think I've made that abundantly clear. I just think he had a more interesting direction to take Star Wars instead of just rehashing the original trilogy again. Compared to that's what I kind of always read JJ's take on Star Wars more as. And I think I just overall applaud movies or just media in general when it tries to just do something out of the box, even for its own series. So, you know, it's something that should have been planned out from the start, or at least given creative control from one person. I know Dave Filoni would come on board later down the line, but that's besides the point. He's not in charge of the movies specifically, or he wasn't in charge of the movies at this point. And, you know, as as a result, like, when things got bad in this franchise, it got really bad. Even though I would have preferred Johnson's take on Star Wars, I do agree it would have been easier just to swap him out with JJ for that second film. You know, what can you do? And I do believe that this sequel trilogy had a lot of kind of judgment going in from the onset. Because, again, it was from a purchase by Disney, who many people see as just a company who known for its extreme greed. So a lot of people had a lot going against it, and then that kind of only multiplied as time went on. But I know when it comes to expectations, I know people had a lot of expectations for these films, and that goes to show, if you go online anywhere to look up theories or just in general alternate universe or just stories people have written for the sequel trilogy, they will say a lot about, oh, we should have gone this way, or I prefer this, blah, blah, blah. It's clear people had so many ideas on what they wanted this trilogy to be, and it turned out to be basically no one's, you know? And so that's why, for me, I try not to go into movies with the biggest of expectations. Not in a sense of I expect to be disappointed, but it's like I can't be annoyed to get a product I was never promised, in quotation marks. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think any of us were really promised Star Wars Episode 7. That sounds like a fever dream. Or at least in the early 2000s, it sounded like a fever dream. So, and I know for me, I only really cared about Finn. Finn, to me, is a very special character. And even though I think he should have gone in different directions, I do wish he was the Jedi, but I do think he still proved to me to be his own interesting character that still could get a lot more to do in, you know, the future. I don't think he was necessarily ruined. I don't really think too many of the characters were ruined, to be honest, but, you know. But when it comes to enjoyments, I know I sound like the biggest defender of these movies. Believe me, I have a lot to say that isn't good. I like to believe I justify these films, but not necessarily defend. If there's no contrast for you, so be it. But I know for me, I just think there are good things in these films, and we should try to uplift it and leave kind of the bad in the past, you know? That's kind of why the Clone Wars succeeded. It took all the interesting parts about the prequels, put it in its own format and made it work. And that's why we have such a revisionism of the prequels nowadays. And, you know, I truly believe that even if we were to get I know a lot of people wanted the George Lucas sequel trilogy instead. They weren't guaranteed to be good. Were they guaranteed to be more consistent with lore and from a production or output point of view? Of course, since it's all coming from George Lucas, Skywalker Ranch, etc. So there's that. But I don't think it doesn't necessarily guarantee a good product, if that makes any sense. I mean all that to say that while I do enjoy parts of the sequel trilogy, I would not necessarily be the most upset if it just suddenly up and vanished one day. Mainly because I'm more indifferent to it than I have such strong feelings that really overtake anything. Obviously, episodes 1 through 6 were kind of great as is. These movies never really need to happen. And I do understand that the fact that I have to really do my best to understand this or like wrap my head around this trilogy, it really goes to show that maybe this wasn't the best executed thing. And I think we should, you know, take that into account moving forward. But I really do think we need to stop this mindset of simply hating on the sequel films. Yes, it's fun to do. Yes, it's very easy to do. But I just don't think we're getting anywhere. We've been rotating the same jokes since these movies came out. And while they're fun, I'm sorry, they're going to get stale. They've been stale. And we need to start doing more productive things, whether that be just forgetting them and moving on. I know some people will make their own side projects, promoting the good stuff that comes out of Star Wars nowadays. A lot of people loved Andor, and I know the Acolyte's a weird one to bring up, but I remember that one lightsaber fight. People were glazing that. Some people even admitted this was one of the best lightsaber sequences since the prequels. And it's like, yeah, no, we should totally lift the good and not necessarily excuse the bad or forget about it, but when it comes to what we want to see out of Star Wars, we really got to start, digging away all the dirt in the trash and finding those nuggets of gold, because there is gold to be found. And I think once we figure out that gold and put it all together to see what we want going forward, then that's when I think the sequel trilogy will be as great as we want it to be. But yeah, that's really all I have for you. Thank you for watching, and until next time, this has been LEGO Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga.